What rules? I don't even know who you are.
Oh, you don't?
This is the show I've been waiting my entire life for. Invincible is the story of Mark Grayson, son of the world's strongest superhero, which in this case is basically Superman J.K. Simmons, who after years of waiting finally gets his superpowers. Putting on the tights and taking the name Invincible, Mark discovers that being a superhero is far stranger and more dangerous than he could have ever imagined. Now I went into the show knowing absolutely nothing. I knew that it was created by Robert Kirkman, aka the guy who made a comic about The Walking Dead that inspired the show That Can Never Die. That's a video for a different time though, because today you're here to hear if you should watch Invincible or not. The answer is yes. Because when I say episode 1 feels like a DC animated show, I mean it. Invincible hits that sweet spot of having action, humor, and heart, making it a show that can be enjoyed by anyone. For me, it's the show's sincerity that makes Invincible stand out. Because after years of nihilistic circle jerks, we finally are getting shows that say it's okay to care about other people. The very first scene we get is a security guard talking about his relationship with his stepson and the struggles they've gone through and how they've just recently reached a place of love. Sincerity is a hard thing to find in popular adult animation. Most of the shows I grew up with seemed terrified of having any real pathos to them, always sticking to that garbage TV edgelord mentality that it made it seem like caring about other people was either a struggle or burdened by some other factor. Shows like South Park, Family Guy, and even Rick and Morty on its worst days always paint caring about other people as a weakness, while glorifying those that don't care about anything. Frankly, this is what's driven me away from a lot of the shows I used to love, as they feel like they're trying way too hard to be adult because they don't want to be labeled for kids. But Invincible opens up with a beautiful conversation that illustrates the power of vulnerability and the catharsis that comes with it. Throughout the first 3 episodes, we see conversations like this continuously. Whether it's Mark's mom talking about the shift that powers have brought to their relationship, to a cursed child explaining how hard it is to get laid. And I swear that last one makes sense in context. Invincible has pathos, the kind that really makes you interested in the characters and their struggles, making these superpowered gods feel human, while having fun without being mean-spirited. It's still a superhero show though, so how's the action? Pretty good. I will give the caveat though that this show's action only really shines in smaller fights. As soon as a fight involves more than 4 people, it just feels busy, with a lot happening but very little substance. There's one exception to this rule, but we're not in spoilers yet. This story has a lot of supers, and everyone has their own skill set, making every fight feel a little bit different. And it becomes a game of who can use their powers the best to counter their opponents or synergize with whoever they're working with. The best part of any Avengers film is watching heroes fight together and do combos. It really spices up the generic Superman hits something harder's formula I am kind of used to with these shows. The fights won't make you stand up and cheer, but you might text to your friends asking like, oh, you see how cool that was? Also, while on this topic of heroes, we've seen only a small number of villains in this show, but they're a lot of fun, with SJW, Dr. Animo, and the Mauler twins being my favorites. And I think across the board, all the characters that get time devoted to them really shine, as they are typically very simple in how they're presented, but are very well executed, while also sprinkling in little hints about hidden depths. Like Rexplosion is exactly the character Jason Something would play. But there's brief instances where he makes you question how much of this persona he puts out is real. And I really can't say enough, the characters across the board are all great. And as for the main ones though, I'll say that Mark, aka Asking for Invincible, is a positive mixed bag. Because personality wise, he's bog standard to me. He's Terry McGinnis without the edge, or Ben 10 without having his head stuck up his ass. He's standard hero dork who's trying to do the right thing for the right reasons, even if he makes mistakes along the way. He's your standard identifiable character, but that's okay. Because just because he's standard doesn't mean his story is. Mark's experience and dilemmas are fascinating. He's the son of basically Superman and has finally inherited his powers, completely changing the dynamic of his family. His mom now feels isolated, being the only normal one, while his dad is aggressive in teaching Mark how to control his powers. Well, this is a new dynamic for the family, and with that comes a lot of interesting character moments that give Mark depth and really elevates him above being just a standard hero. His difficulties adjusting to superhero life and his romantic problems are all pretty fun, but it's the family drama that keeps me coming back. Steven Yeun is killing it with this performance and completely selling this character. Speaking of voices, J.K. mustache-wearing Simmons is here and playing Omni-Man. I can never get enough of J.K. Simmons' voice in my life, so I'm really happy to hear him again. And his performance is amazing as always, with Omni-Man being the character you'll have the most questions about. But to talk about that, I have to go into spoilers, and I'd really want all of you to go into this first episode blind. So before talking about anything spoilerific, I'll just touch on one more topic before going into the things I really want to talk about. The animation for this show is good, but... no, it's good. No, seriously, I really dig the animation for the show. The fights are fun, the designs are great. The show uses a lot of CGI locations, which honestly is just the best choice for this kind of show, where it probably isn't worth drawing cities for every fight sequence. While I do think the models are good, I don't think they hold up under any scrutiny. Because for me at least, I was happily enjoying a rooftop conversation till my eyes dripped off the characters and realized the whole city was CGI, which it looks fine. But once I noticed it, I couldn't stop looking at it. Same goes for the CGI space fillers. Crowds are a nightmare to animate, but there were one or two instances where the oncoming mass of copy and pasted characters just took me out of it. But on a whole, the show looks great. Facial animations can be a bit stiff with the eyebrows not moving as much as I think they should, but I'm the uninformed hack nitpicking here. Overall, the first 3 episodes hooked me, and I will definitely be watching this show week to week and making a summary for it once the whole show is over. If you like DC animated shows, this is for you. So if you haven't seen episode 1, pause the video, go watch it. It's just on Amazon Prime. All right, no shame. You have till 3, 2, 1. Holy shit, that ending. So I had a gut feeling that this was going to be an intense show just because The Boys was so successful. I figured that Amazon would be betting on more of that similar drama/violence level. This show, it just, going to episode 1, you see blood coming out of the eye. Okay, there's a little blood. Maybe that's the limit. But then it just lures me into this false sense of security, and then it goes insane. Everyone's dead, blood, brains everywhere, and now we all have to wonder how evil Omni-Man is. Because from his first scene at home, he felt a little bit off to me. Not in that awkward dad way, but in that my kid isn't what the plan needs him to be. It's what's the deal? Is he really just an alien invader? Because based on his fight with the Justice League knockoffs, I don't think he can conquer the world on his own. He might be able to destroy the world, but from what we've seen, he took a lot of damage just being the Guardians, so maybe he thinks he could take it over but not hold it. So what I'm thinking is that he needs Mark to help him take over the world, because he goes to that alien dimension and just wipes out everyone. He absolutely has the power to conquer planets, but the difference is that planet didn't have supers like Earth does, which must have necessitated Omni-Man creating a backup. At least that's just my guess. And while the murder of the team was certainly gruesome, I think it fits, which I'm happy about because I see a lot of shows that have excessive gore. It either focuses way too much on it or is done so often it loses its punch. Invincible so far has been really good at balancing, showing people get hurt while not making me feel like I'm in the splash zone. Though I did roll my eyes at Duplicate, who, just like Halo and Young Justice, has a power that lets horrific things happen to them with no consequences, and it makes it feel really cheap, like Kenny from South Park cheap. This is just a trope I don't like personally. Almost all the characters are fun. It's filled to the brim with copycat characters from Frat Guy Gamut to Cyborg's twin robot, with there not being a single character I didn't enjoy in some capacity. It's a show with a ton of characters, so the fact that none of them have felt pointless or boring, really surprising. Sassy Gay Best Friend is a little 2008 to me, but if this show can make me tolerate Rexplosion, I think it's gonna be okay. Honestly, I really like the teen team and all the relationship drama brewing with them as a whole, because it's just a staple of hero shows at this point, and I'm all about it. I don't know what made Duplicate sleep with this idiot though.
Hold on! This doesn't mean shit!
Adam Eve, God, that is a dumb name. Though to be fair, almost all the names in this show are bad or just a little bit corny. So that it just has a vibe going on. Really interested to see where the show is going to go. I know this is based on a comic, but I have zero desire to check it out. I want to experience this with the show because it feels like almost every other good guy is secretly evil, and I kind of love that. I love the dumb teen drama, Mark's love life, the personal beef between the heroes, and oh my god, Seth Rogen was in this show. Like, can we just take a moment to realize how star-studded this cast is? They're Amazon, I know. Are they just like giving away lifetime Prime accounts? Because they have way too much talent on their hands for what seems like bit parts. And they're all killing it. Oddly enough, the show that Invincible reminds me of the most isn't even a superhero show. It's Megas XLR. Both skirt this line between parody and being serious while keeping the incredibly wacky logic of older comics. It's dumb, but I love it, and I really want to see more of this space shenanigans. Overall, I'd call this a great start to what could be an amazing series, and I can't wait to go back and watch. Why did it just hard cut when I was trying to be sincere? I just said, okay, full disclosure, I hate the opening gimmick of not saying Invincible and cutting to the title screen. It worked the first time, but every time after that, it ripped me out of the episode so fast. Like the scene of the Guardians getting buried and Red Blur's widow crying, or girlfriend, whatever she was. Mark just has this somber realization on the fragility of human art. Like, this is the editing equivalent of a slap to the face, and ruins the impact of scenes that they build up to. It's so easily fixable too, they just have to keep the ambient noise from the previous scene going. And I just really hope they drop this gimmick, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna keep doing this for the rest of the season. Either way, a bad opener doesn't keep the show from being good, and you should go watch it. Amazon Prime, new episodes every Friday, check it out and subscribe down below. Follow me on Twitter, peace out, see y'all next time.